Alright, so I'm out here today looking for elderberries. I'm obviously walking in the middle of a creek bed. And hold on, I gotta cross a log here. 1 second. Don't want to fall down. It's a little muddy here, as you can see. So I'm looking here in the creek bank because of a couple of reasons. Elderberries grow in full sun and partial sun or partial shade. They don't do as well in full shade, and so I thought this might be a perfect place to come and see if there's any here, and if not, we'll take the video on somewhere else. But usually they like rich, fertile soils that are moist. They tend to like creek beds, creek banks I should say, and they like the edges of fields. Oh my goodness, here's one right here, right in my face. Okay, so they tend to like areas that are, like I said, rich, fertile soils. So you might find them on the edges of rivers or streams, creeks, or even along roads where there's fields with good drainage into the ditches. A lot of times they grow near the ditches. And so that's actually how I learned how to identify them from a distance, was looking on as I was driving, looking on the sides of the road, because they grow so much on the road. But I do not recommend harvesting near roads because they have a lot of spraying going on. They've got a lot of pesticides a lot of times. And so you don't want to harvest near roads or near fields that get sprayed. But this is wild and unruly here. No spraying here, no fields here that I can see. It's all nature. So I think we're good. But I'm going to show you real quick how to identify them, and we'll try to go find some more. Okay? I'm going to turn you around. Alright. Okay, starting with the leaves. These leaves grow like this, okay? They grow on one whole stem like this. They grow parallel across from each other, and they have one at the tip. Okay? And they have slightly serrated edges. Let me get that cleared up. Okay. Slightly serrated edges. Sometimes the leaves are big and sometimes they're little. So this leaflet has a lot of bigger leaves. So you can compare them to the size of my hand. About the size of 3 or 4 fingers. Okay? And then some of them are smaller. So compare it to my thumb. Some of them are actually the size of a thumb. I don't know if any of these are. These are all a little bit bigger, but I've seen some being really small, like the size of my thumb. Alright, and they are composite leaves like this. So, another thing I want to point out is with an elderberry, they're brown, not red. A lot of people think that pokeberries are elderberries, and pokeberries, the entire plant stem or trunk, whatever you want to call it, is red, and this is not. This is completely brown like a normal tree, and its new growth will be green, as you can see here. It's got leaflets that come across parallel to each other, and kind of, I'll show you how they come up out of the stem here. There you go. And they're pretty much parallel with each other like that. Isn't that interesting how that does? And then, let me get that one cleared up, maybe. There we go. So that's the new growth of the new leaves. From year to year, they'll be green. And so it kind of comes up and then just grows parallel outward, each leaflet, and then each leaf is also parallel with each other with one at the end. Alright, and then the berries that you want to look for are like a little umbrella. And this is the only part of the plant that will ever appear to be red. So that's where a lot of confusion comes, I think, because people say that elderberries have a red stem. Well, this is the only part that's really red. So it looks like a little umbrella. I call them umbrels. I'm not sure what everyone calls them. Before it goes into berry, it'll have white flowers. They're beautiful little flowers. And I might be able to throw some pictures onto this video of some, because I did take some pictures of them after I harvested some once. So let's see if we can go find some more. Is this not pretty or what? Give you guys a good view. Let's see. All of this is pretty partially shady, partially sunny. So I could see some growing in places like this. It's usually where I find them, places like these. Over there I definitely could imagine some growing, and I might make it over there in a minute. And I'm going to stay on this side first. Oh, I found some pokeberry. I'm glad about that. I can show you guys the difference between pokeberry and elderberry real quick. You can see the vine is fully red, or the trunk of the shrub or tree or whatever you want to call it. And you see those little berries right there? They come off in a cylinder type of fashion. I'm trying to see if I can climb this. I don't know if I'm gonna. I might show you guys some later if I find some more, but that's pretty steep and I don't want to drop my camera. There's a member of the Asteraceae family, which is the composite family. You are probably familiar with it because sunflowers and daisies, chamomile are all part of that family. Prairie fleabane are. I'm not sure which plant this one is. It's maybe a cup plant, or I don't know which one it is. Oh, looky here what it's next to too. Elderberry. I don't know which one that is. It might be a cup plant. I don't know, but it's definitely in the composite family. I can tell by the leaves and the flower. But here is an elderberry plant. Okay, so starting from the bottom up, we've got this right here. Comes up, and it's got its new growth here, like I was mentioning before, that's green, and they're parallel from each other. And then the leaflets, again, are compound, and it's got the leaves all parallel from each other except for the one at the tip. Alright, and then this one's got a good amount of berries, so we're not too late. And here's off of another plant right next to it. Some more. That's pretty full. It's beautiful. You see how it comes up to like an umbrella point? And then the only part that's red is right next to the berries on the stem. Cool. Alright, and then see if there's any more out here. I'll come back to this one. For those of you who don't know how to identify poison ivy yet, this is poison ivy. A lot of people think poison ivy has rigid, serrated edges, but it doesn't. It looks just like this. It's leaves of three. I know a lot of people say leaves of three, let it be, but not everything that's leaves of three is harmful. But if you don't know what you're looking for, I would follow that rule just in case. But what I always notice about them, what I always pay attention to, this one's really good at it. Sometimes they're not as prominent, but a lot of times they'll have what I call thumbs. So like one leaf will have a thumb over here, another leaf will have a thumb over here, and the one in the middle kind of looks like this to me. So see how this one here has its thumb, and this one here has its thumb down here, and then this one looks more like that or something. That's what they do. That's poison ivy. And sometimes you'll see them changing colors. It won't be long, they might be more red and other colors. And then here's some more. It's got some dust on it, but sometimes it's more prominent than others, see? But here's some more elderberry. Okay, falling into the water. It's steep. Okay. So there's some more elderberries. So from a distance, if you're looking from a distance to try to identify them, say you're walking across a field or just trying to practice along a road or whatever, one thing I always notice is they're kind of droopy. They kind of have a droopy look to them. You see, the leaves are a little droopy. More than most plants, or more than a lot of plants, I should say. And so that's one way I can identify them. I look for groups of droopy plants. And a lot of times they have vines growing on them too, like especially along the roads. I've noticed a lot of real burly looking, kind of like what you see up there. See that green, dark green area? Looks kind of burly. A lot of times if I see areas that look like that, I look for elderberry in them. I don't know if that has elderberry in it or not, but a lot of times vines will grow along the stems or the trunks of the elderberry trees, shrubs, whatever you want to call them. I need to look and see if it's a shrub. I think it's a shrub. When you're harvesting elderberry, what you need to do to make it easier on yourself is just cut off the umbel. Just snip it right off and then put it into your canvas bag or your basket or whatever you have with you. Just like that. And then when you get home, put the whole thing in the freezer. I sometimes just put the whole bag of whatever I have in the freezer if it's just elderberries in there. And then the next day it'll be frozen, and then you can just shake them. Just shake them and the berries will fall right off. And whatever doesn't fall off you can easily pick off. Because right now, just they're pretty messy little berries. See how they'll dye your skin? So you don't want to get too much of that on you. Or in your basket or your bag. You want to make sure you're using a harvest bag or a basket that you're not worried about, because it will smash a little bit. But it helps to have them in the freezer and do it that way. Because if you're picking all these off, you're definitely going to make a mess. And you're going to lose some berries. So there's a lot here in this little section. I'm sure there's more in other places as well. But get a close-up of these. So this is what they look like without the berries. And that's with the berries. So you're not too late, folks. September 11th, and we still have some time. So get out there and find some before the birdies get them. Because there's like 35 or so native birds here in Missouri that are known to feast on the elderberry. And deer like to graze on the ends of the stems as well, and other animals. Another thing you might want to pay attention to when you're out foraging are the seasons that are in place at the time. You want to make sure that you're not foraging in the middle of a deer season right during hunting time, especially if you're not wearing orange or a bright color. That's something I always pay attention to, is the seasons that's in place. And I try to, if I'm harvesting during deer season, I try to harvest between 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. just so that I'm dodging some of the hunters. And I try to stay in safer areas. But look at all these elderberries. You see all that? Man, there's a good amount of berries out here. Alright, and then I'm sure there's some on the other side of this creek too, I'm sure. But for the purpose of this video, I think we at least covered the idea of them and how to find them from a distance, because they do kind of look a little more droopy. You can see that bunch of berries up there, and see how the leaves are a little droopy. And if you're looking in alongside the road, like I mentioned before, you'll notice that a lot of times vines grow on them, so they'll be even more bushy. So if you just always look for bushy stuff too, because if you're on the edges of things like the creeks or the roads, because that's where they grow, and you'll find a lot of like American hog peanut vines or other kinds of vines growing on them. So Just keep a lookout for the big shrubby areas too, because they might be hiding within those. All right, so I'm gonna pop out a couple of books real quick and show you some more information here in just a second. Let me go to a dry area here. I'm gonna pop out my books. So it's a shrub. I couldn't remember which one I found it in. It's the shrub one. Elderberries are shrubs. They look like little trees. Okay, so this is out of that free publication from the Conservation Department. That's the common elderberry that's found here. It's the Sambucus canadensis elderberry. And then we also have, in a very small region of Missouri, the red elderberry. It's the red-berried elderberry. But this is the common elderberry, the ones with the blackberries. If they have blackberries and they have a little umbel like that, usually have some red tinge to the umbel, those are okay. All right? And so it says, the common elderberry is a shrub to 8 feet tall, forming colonies from root sprouts with branches occurring near the top. Leaves opposite, compound, 4 to 12 inches long with 5 to 7 leaflets. Leaflets are 2 to 6 inches long, 1 to 2 inches wide, lance-shaped to sometimes broadest at the middle, margins sharply toothed, upper surface shiny, bright green, smooth, lower surface paler, barely or densely hairy, flowers white, sweet-scented, about a 1/4 inch across, and flattened flower clusters, sometimes up to 10 inches across at the tip of twigs, petals 5. Fruit purple or black, about 1/4 inch across, smooth, glossy, bittersweet, occurs in open woods and thickets along streams, fence rows, roadsides, and railroads. So, and these are the ones you want to avoid. And they have a smaller little cluster of berries, obviously, grow closer together. And the leaves look a little different too. These ones are more smooth looking than these. These are a little rough. So there are easy to tell differences on those. So that's that. All right, so I think I'm gonna actually harvest a few of the elderberries. Even though it lives right next to water, I'm gonna give it some more. And I wish I had my eggshells or something with me, or something that's not water, since it has so much water, but it's still a gift and I'm still gonna say thank you. All right, I hope you guys can get out in nature in the next couple of days and find yourself some elderberries. Let me know if you find any, and in the comments below, post a picture if you can of your elderberries, or let me know if you found some and if you got to make some elderberry syrup out of them. Post pictures if possible of whatever you can make, or whatever you made, or whatever you found. And if you can't, let me know if you found any elderberries. All right, back to nature I go. Here's some more pokeberry. But early in the spring, people used to use this for poke salad, for poke leaves. But I don't know, I think the root might even be medicinal, but I don't know. I've never used it myself. You can see the red. This one you can see better. I thought I'd show you this one real quick. So they're definitely different than an elderberry. Getting rained on. So I ended up harvesting a few berries. That's my harvest of the day. I didn't take very much. I left most of it for nature. And I didn't put it in my canvas bag because I have other stuff in there. And so this was the cleanest way to do it. So that's what I did. When you go out in nature, it's fun to have something you're looking for, but it's also fun to just go out there and see what you can find. If you download that Picture This app or take some field guides with you, look around in nature and say, what's calling out at me? What plants seem to be speaking to me? And usually it's those plants that speak out to you, that call out to you, that you notice that you could have use for. Sometimes they have medicinal purposes that are meant for you. It's true, it happens all the time. One of the first plants I ever felt called to was Solomon seal. And it's really good for bones and ligaments and backs, like your backbone, your discs, and things like that. And at that time, I was dealing with a lot of, I was out of place. My back was out of place and I was feeling pain from that. And when I found the uses for that, I thought that was interesting. And then I started paying attention after that. And it seems like, even to this day, that when a plant calls out to me and I'm immediately like, what is that plant? There's a reason that plant called out to me. And so I want you to go outside, even if you don't have any interest in finding elderberries or anything else, just go outside, and even if it's in your own yard, just the perimeter of your own yard, and just notice the plants. Which ones call out to you? Which leaves make you the most interested? Which flowers call out to you? And then use your Picture This app or a good field guide and find out what its uses are. Get on YouTube, search what the history of it is, like the historic medicinal or edible uses, what they used to do with it. And I'm sure you'll be surprised at how much it resonates with you. Make sure that when you're harvesting, you pay attention, you look up the information that's necessary, whether like you need to know if it's the root that's used, the leaves that's used, the seed, the flower, or a combination of the above. And you make sure you're harvesting them correctly, drying them correctly, preparing them correctly. Some things are good raw, some things are better when they're cooked or boiled twice. So make sure you're paying attention to those little details. It takes a little time to research, but once you know it, you won't forget it, so you won't regret looking it up. You won't regret the time spent outside or in research about those things, because those things are going to be useful for you later. So, all right, I think I'm going to get back home. I need to get home and cook some supper. So, I'll talk to you guys another day.